Dad Life presents live discussions on Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 2. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geek Dad Life 2 Geeky TV and Film Reviews. And tonight, we're going to be talking about the wondrous, the stupendous Stranger Things for Volume 2, just the last two episodes. And with me is, once again, my good friend, Dom. Dom, how you doing tonight?
What's going on, Jay? I am doing fantastic. Enjoying the stormy weather we have tonight. It's like putting me in a trance. I'm like, it's ready to kick back and go to bed. So, but I'm here.
The clouds definitely had a Stranger Things kind of vibe to them. There's the big old rolling in clouds for sure. So hopefully if one or both of us lose internet tonight, we'll carry on as best as we can. Oh my God. All right. Well, excited to be here. It seemed like when we did our first episode talking about the first 7 episodes, like, oh man, July 1st is forever away, but it came here so fast. So I'm going to talk about the last 2 episodes of Season 4 of Stranger Things. Definitely want to say hello to the chat. We got Studio Henge here, Cobweb, David V, Adam Smedberg. Hello there. Dartherian, trying to make me cry already. I'll take care of the new Toy Geeks, Jay. Kayla Silva in the house. What up, nerds? I ran through trees. Sorry I'm late. And before I put in BTGs, I do have to, I guess I should put in, hold on. Nope, not that one. Spoiler alert. We're talking about the last 2 episodes and thus the whole Season 4 of Stranger Things. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're watching this right now, appreciate you watching. Hit the like button. But come back after you see the final 2 episodes. All right, now I can plus in BTGs.
Now, can we really say episodes, or do we want to say the 2 movies we got?
Whew, that is true. Oh my God. Can we? Okay, let's. And JJ, only 5 years till Season 5. That too. Rogo is here as well. But yeah, so this dropped Friday, July 1st.
Yep.
And the kids went to sleep. I think we started at 8 something, maybe 9 something. And by the time the first episode was done, I think it was like 11 o'clock. And then Colleen and I just kind of looked at each other and we're like, guess we're starting the next one. And then go to like 1:30 or 2:30. Well, anyways, so exhausted, but well worth it. Dom, what was because you said you're going to like a friend's house to watch it or something.
Yeah.
And how was that?
It was good. I mean, kind of same situation. We went over, hung out for a little bit. They have a 9-month-old, so we had to wait for them to put the baby to bed. And by the time that was done, it was 7:30, getting into 8. So same like you were. Next thing you know, we're like, okay, so we're here till at least midnight.
Oh my God. Well, we had all sorts of predictions at the end of the last episode. I think some of the biggest that I can recall from that episode, Tom, is one. You didn't care if Steve died or not because you're Jonathan and Nancy for life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And number 2, we didn't want Eddie to die. So none of our things came true the way we wanted them. Well, I guess you're a Jonathan Nancy stan, and I guess they're still fine. I guess.
Okay, we're going to talk about this really quick. Then at the end of the entire thing, I looked at my wife and I said, "Damn it! Like it's open. The door is open. The window is open. The door's open. Whatever for Nancy and Steve." And it's because of how Jonathan, like how he did it all with that last, like them putting up repairing the house together and stuff. That interaction there and what he said and how Nancy kind of talked about Steve. And how, Jonathan didn't care. He was like, oh, yeah, sure. And like that, all the interaction. And then, of course, Jonathan not telling Nancy the truth still. I was like, oh, no. Oh, okay. It's over. Like, I immediately was like, they're done.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because she's going to find out. Like, he's still lying. She's going to find out.
Yeah.
And that's just going to push. That's going to officially separate them because they're like, are we good? Yeah, we're good. Was kind of like, are we still good? And then now he's lying. She's gonna find out. It's over.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
Well, okay. So now, is that just because are you feeling a little bit defeatist? Because it just, he's struggling clearly, but it's hard. Their relationship was kind of born out of them always being in crisis mode together, right? Like that's
True.
kind of what it was born out of. And season 1 and the season 2, that's where they like got together. And yeah, it did kind of feel like they left it on a very unsure note. And a lot of people in the chat have comments as well. Post those in. Jay Andrew, I really thought Steve or Nancy was gonna get it. So did I. Like I both thought they could have died. So big up BTG Jonathan blew it.
Yes, he did.
GUE 2112. Woo. And
my guy Goo.
Eddie forever. But yeah, I love the drama. I love the soap opera-ness of the relationship. But I kind of feel bad now because now I feel like last time I was like, yeah, Steve and Nancy get back together. But after talking to you and even in texting back and forth between the things, you were very much still in the Jonathan and Nancy camp. And I kind of felt bad that I was trying to break up a solid relationship. But, I think it's not a solid relationship if there's no truth between the two, right?
Correct. And everyone was cheering them on throughout, the episode 8, I think it was, with the whole running through the woods and the romance and stuff there, and they almost make out until Robin stopped that, and I was kind of like, she's still in a relationship, Steve, like, chill, like.
But it's I don't know. It's we'll have to see how it plays out. Regardless, I'm just thankful Steve made it.
Yeah.
Because the way it was set up in the last episode, I feel like it was telegraphed that Steve was gonna eat it in this season. He had the classic, bandages around the gut wound, and that's always in any movie. If there's the move the hand, look at the wound, you're gonna die. That's how that's gonna happen. But alas, he survived. Let me ask this question. In a recent interview, Millie Bobby Brown said, I believe a bunch of softy Sallies or something like that. That's what Millie Bobby Brown called the Duffer Brothers, because they don't have the guts to kill off any of the main members. So given that really only Eddie officially is the one that has died, Max is kind of, I guess, brain dead or something, or just not all there.
Interesting.
What's your thoughts on who ended up dying, maybe who didn't end up dying? And do you agree with Millie Bobby Brown saying they should be more Game of Thrones, which is what she asked for? Or do you like that the Duffer Brothers make Stranger Things a tad more wholesome than Game of Thrones anyway? What's your thoughts there, Dom?
I mean, I feel like when we were texting day of, on July 1st, we did both kind of assume Eddie would hit it, like get it. I think that at the end of that, we were texting like it's gonna be Eddie. So that kind of made sense, I get that one. But I don't know if I want to see like a lot of the main cast die. Yeah. But I could see a couple of cast members dying. Like, Game of Thrones went, to the wall in terms of we're killing everybody. Like everyone's dying.
No one's safe.
So I like just thinking about how Stranger Things started, season 1, season 2. I didn't get that vibe that it would be a type of we're killing the main cast. So I kind of get it. It's always like those integral characters that are just brought in for the season. So you're like, yeah, we get you, but you're gonna go away by the end. So like I'm fine with it, but I think it would, especially if they do it in season 5, it'll rock some socks off of a lot of people if like 1 or 2 actual main characters die. Yeah. And that's almost where I was like, if they didn't do it here, it's going to hurt so much more in season 5 because Eddie had the Bob season arc. Bob played by Sean Astin in season 2, where new character introduced into the season and you fall in love with him and then they kill him. Yep.
And, season 3, Billy kind of became that. I guess you cared that he was dying by the end of it, I guess. I was kind of with Max. I was kind of like, I didn't really care if he died or not, but it was kind of sad.
Exactly.
But the Eddie storyline, out of all of them, I think was the most fleshed out and the most tragic. It hurt the most. And yeah, I think it was a big bummer. Like both Chrissy and Eddie, they really popped on screen this season, and it hurt losing them. Yeah, Netflix was teasing the Steve in the ads too. Which if Steve survived the Botswana, Eddie, I think just Eddie had a lot more bat carnage done upon him.
Yeah, Steve got saved within like 30 seconds of the bats. Eddie had like 5 minutes of Eddie versus a billion bats. It was over.
Which Dustin, like, just, I know he hurt his leg, but it took a while to get there. I was like, come on, Dustin. 60-minute misfit. They were making us care too much about Eddie. You knew he and Steve both weren't going to make it.
Yep.
Jay Andrew says, I don't want to see it play out like Game of Thrones. I totally feel you there. Kayla Silva says, yes, the brothers confirmed she's brain dead. At least Argyle made it.
Yeah, my boy Argyle. My friends hate him, and I don't know why. My friends hate Argyle. Every time he came on the stage, they just got mad. And I was like, how do you hate this guy?
That's impossible. Argyle's the best. And even the whole subplot of getting Elle to that pizza place, and then the whole interaction with him and the person that works there. Oh my God. That was amazing. Your friends. I don't think I can be friends with your friends now. It's not gonna happen. Let's see. Kayla Silva, at least one main will die next season for sure. Rest in peace, Samwise. Riley Bob. Oh God, I forgot about Bob. No pun intended. Well, Colleen loved it so much she was like, we're gonna start rewatching it. So we just finished season 2 last night, and the Bob death just hurts real bad. And Jay Andrew, everyone knew a guy like Eddie in high school, and I love that you call this out, Jay Andrew, because and I don't know about you, Don, but just like for me growing up, I was of the Freaks and Geeks. I always loved that show because like, oh, that's like I was in the Freaks and Geeks. I was in the Geeks section, but there's something about the Freaks and Geeks, at least in my school, kind of, we took care of each other because we're in the same not popular group. And I had a few like metalheads, punk heads that I was friends with that were just like Eddie, like slackers, didn't do well in school, played guitar in a metal band, dressed just like Eddie, but just had like a heart of gold and just like looked out for you. And I was a smaller kid, and the metalheads would always like make sure I didn't get beat up or whatever. Like if there was a moment I'd get beat up, they would usually come and like save me from getting stuck in the trash can or something. So I think that's why Eddie connected even more. And it seems like that's the same for everybody. How about you, Dom? I don't know if you were popular in high school or not, but
no, not at all. Again, I knew everyone. I was like that kid that knew everyone but didn't have anyone, right? But right. I did have a really good friend of mine, like my very first job ever. He same age, but he went to like my rival high school. Yeah, but that was kind of actually who he was. He was a big, metal guitar, singer in his band, drummer in his guitar in his band, all that stuff. So I same way, like, dude still is one of the nicest people I know. But you don't always, and when we're in school, you don't always get that, identity, unfortunately.
Yeah. And again, it's like they look the hardest, but they have like the softest and kindest soul you'll ever meet. And so they really nailed his story. They really nailed, I don't know, just everything about him. And apparently that last scene between Dustin and Eddie, like when he says, I love you, man, or whatever, that was improvised, apparently, which makes it hurt even more.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
That was, and then of course, I heard that Lucas's line was also improvised, but like, so it's kind of like 2 back-to-back really big things.
Yeah.
We were just talking about, main characters die, and Max is now a main character. And at first she did, die for a full minute. So I mean, like people were losing it in the house with that too. So yeah, but that Eddie Dustin moment, like, because oh man, that was tough.
Yeah. Yeah. It hurt. And it kind of, but before that, he had his moment, right? He had his take the guitar, sling it around his back. And then, if Running Up That Hill was the song of the first half, the first 7, Master of Puppets, was that moment of this show. And, I thought it was awesome. I always loved You know, I think for a lot, especially if you're a musician, or everybody has that Metallica phase, and it's just a great song. It was perfect for the tone of like the scene, just the song itself, the lyrics, and just everything kind of matched up perfectly. And it was epic. It was awesome. What was your thoughts of his, you know, shredding guitar scene?
I am not a big metal person, but that was the hands down the best concert ever. It lasted a minute, and it was the best concert to ever exist. And Dustin is lucky he got front row seats to something like that. Like I mean, I've seen people on social media talking about the same thing. Oh, I hate metal music, but I watch that thing over and over again. Like, and it was teased because I remember in Stranger Things trailers that Steve was rocking a guitar in the upside down. So I was so curious as to when it was going to happen. Yes. And I am so happy with how it played out. I mean, absolutely phenomenal.
Oh,
now,
so cool.
With us talking about his death, did he need to die? No. So much of that was preventable. If the whole objective was to get them away, the bats away in enough time for the other three to sneak in, they did that. He didn't have to, I need more time. No, you don't. They're in, bro. Just you can get back home. So that part to me, I was like, he doesn't have to die.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's almost, again, it kind of is a movie trope, and this show lives off of tropes, but it is like that. I got to give more time. I got to do this thing. And you think it's the thing that you need to do, but you didn't really need to do it. You could have just ran away like you wanted to do. But I get the arc of he always runs away. He ran away from Chrissy. And I love Riley Bob calling it out here, but like, this is for Chrissy.
Yes.
And so it fulfills his journey from like cowardly lion to, you know, courageous warrior. And so, but I agree. I was just like, oh, you should have just stayed in the other. But okay, here's my question. This is how I kind of retconned it in my head. Could the bats have followed them through the portal and made it into the other world? Maybe that was something he was also trying to prevent.
Good thought. I was actually very curious about that as it was happening. I was kind of like, would they go into the actual realm, or would they think that's too much of you're getting too far away from Vecna at that point, so they can't leave to the real world. So I was thinking that same concept. Yeah. So it's a good thought. You know, he also wanted to save them from going to where Dustin is. I get that. Yeah.
I realized that's kind of retconning it after the fact, but I was like, maybe I was just trying to justify the actions, or at least make it more heroic, because it did seem like it's like, well, I didn't really have to do that, but still, it was epic. Yes, as well as when they're trying to get music to bring Nancy back. It's like, this is music. It's looking at the I think it was an Iron Maiden tape, right? Like, there was just so many great moments. And I think it worked really well. Smedberg calling out Master Puppets came out in early March '86, which I think is just a couple weeks before the season. So it would have been a fresh. So hey, listen, learning that song that quick is pretty good for the age of the internet. Well, Max is dead. She is dead. But any other thoughts here on Eddie before we kind of move on from the hero? He's the hero of the season. Is he the hero of the season, or is it because his death wasn't as necessary? He's not, but I feel like I want to give it to him just because. But your thoughts?
I can't.
Oh,
I can't give it to him. It's a tragic death. Concert of the century. He gets that. No one's topping Eddie. No one's topping that.
Okay.
But in terms of the rest of, I mean, definitely hero for getting the distraction. But I mean, Elle obviously is, as usual, is going to be the overall hero of the day. But so I can't give it to Eddie just because he didn't have to go out like that.
Yes, man. Iron Maiden album Piece of Mind is a masterpiece. Iron Maiden's mascot is named Eddie. That's very true. So you go Daratherian sacrifice of the season.
That part. Yeah.
Hero no, stand up for yes. Colleen says, give it to Eddie.
Sorry, Colleen, I can't.
But yeah, I think it was just, it's a shame he's not in it more. I also agree that, you know, people aren't, here we go, Jade wins hearts. Nobody cared about Eddie's death, to be honest. Like, it was really kind of Dustin's burden to bear, right? Because he's the one that had to tell his father, which was also really emotional. I agree. It kind of seemed to hit, or it seemed to only weigh on Dustin. I mean, everybody has a bunch of problems to worry about, like the gate has opened to hell. Like there's not much they could do. But anyways, yeah, he's our Bob. There you go. He's our Bob. But yeah. So it hurt. It hurt. Justin says, I'm surprised Eddie died. I will say there's points in this like, oh, he's okay. But the second he cut the line and went back, I was like, he's gone. He's done.
Yeah.
And yeah, after they showed Max earlier, the whole 11 versus Vecna, Henry one battle was inside Max's mind. So that's no bueno.
Yeah, they were destroying her memories.
God, that's a good point. So let's wrap a bow on Eddie. Amazing story. Sad to see him go. Dom can't give him hero of the season, but I guess we give him sacrifice of the season or best concert of all time.
Absolutely. Those two I can do.
So, and I just said, I think last stream I said no major characters died, predicted it. So there you go, Justin. You win the award there. Dustin's speech with Eddie's uncle, it resonated a lot with Eddie's character. I know it hurt. It hurt real bad. And because it's the thing is he kind of died courageously.
Yes.
But the whole town still thinks he's like a devil worshiper that killed Chrissy and all of these things. So like the town still doesn't think he's a murderer.
Yep.
Which is so sad. It's so tragic.
He brought the devil into how why am I blanking on the town's name?
Hawkins.
I was like Hopkins. I'm trying to mix Hopper and Hawkins together. But yeah, it was yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's talk about Max, who Kayla says, I feel like Max was more the hero for literally being bait. Let's talk about this because in every season, there's just this moment where the kids are like, nobody else can save the town. We got to do it.
Right.
And I understand the logic behind it, but I'm kind of on with Lucas here. It's like, why does it have to be you, Max? Like, can it just be you? Literally just almost died. Why does it got to be you? But Dom, thoughts on Max's courageous kind of self-sacrifice to put herself out there to try and lure Vecna out? Such a crazy emotional roller coaster of basically admitting that she didn't care if her brother Billy died or was fine with it or whatever.
Was hoping for it.
Yeah, the battle in her mind, and then in the end dying, and 11 not being able to be okay with her failure, quote unquote, and bringing her back to life even though she's brain dead. Dom, thoughts on Max's story this season? The past 2 episodes, anyway.
I didn't think her plan needed to happen. Yeah. Or in the sense that her plan, obviously, it's for the show, right? But yeah. I was totally on Lucas's side where that could have been plan B, right? You make this plan B where we sacrifice one of our own, but we already know that we already know the type of people Vecna's targeting. You have access to the files of people who have been going to see this counselor. Go find out who else has a similar pattern first, right?
Yep.
That was my thought. I was like, no, don't make it be Max. Make it like go look for somebody else in the therapist's files.
Yep.
But as a plan B, which before was plan A, it was a good plan. Like we know what he's trying to do. We know how to get me in and get me out. So let this thing happen. And in all honesty, it still would have worked had Jason's ugly self not shown up. Like it still would have worked. So technically, fantastic plan.
Yeah.
Execution was top notch. Every phase was properly executed. It's just if not for the one guy we've hated from day 2, everything would have been fine. So
yeah, that's a really good point. Like, what do we call him? Chaddinson, the chattiest of Chads. And the thing is, there's a couple moments in these last 2 episodes where they cut in the military surplus store and in the end, both were just I was like, oh God, this is too much. Really scary stuff. And Vecna was the bad guy, but who was the ultimate villain? That was and that to me is like the best kind of horror or, you know, just scary story. I think something Stephen King does really well is there's human beings that are more monstrous than the monsters, you
Right.
know? And you know, they kind of did that with Billy, but this one, Billy was still kind of, I don't know, cartoonish in a way, kind of, but this felt very real and very scary and just awful. And I know he died and got like split in half, but it still wasn't a good enough death, you know?
No, it wasn't satisfying.
No, not even close. I was like, he's supposed to be split in half and like disintegrate. That's not enough.
Nah. I need this man tortured. No, I'm kidding.
I kind of wanted that. Actually, I love this color. Vecna equals Voldemort. Jason equals Dolores Umbridge.
Amazing comparison. I like that.
Right? And it's like Dolores Umbridge. Like, I want her to suffer.
Yeah. I hated Umbridge way more than Voldemort.
Oh yeah, because it's like that. It's more realistic. Like you probably like Vecna's kind of a supernatural thing, but it's like you can imagine Jason. The shitty world we live in these days. You can see the Jasons of the world, and yeah, it's anyway. Because when he stepped on the walkie-talkie, or not the walkie-talkie, the Walkman.
Yep.
That's where I was like, no, that's what I knew Max was done for. I was like, that's it. She's screwed. There's no coming back from that. Jason was pure evil. Agreed. Yes. Haunted Gamer, thoughts on Miss Wheeler being connected to all of this? That's an interesting take. I didn't get that. Let's see what else here. Stranger Things needs a solid toy line done right, not these goofy band. Yeah, the Bandai toys look rough because they have an Eddie one that's out right now, and I saw it at Walmart and I almost picked it up after seeing this season because Eddie's just so awesome, but it just looks like crap. I don't want it. I don't want it at all. But so Max is essentially she's like her arms are broken, she's blind, and
oh my god,
and she dies. And the thing, I think you're probably getting to it, but when she says I'm not ready to die and she says that fear in her face, it hurts so bad. Is that kind of what you were getting at?
Well, I was gonna talk about this, like how I still thought she was gonna be saved sooner than she was. I was holding out so much hope. I was like, Elle's gonna get her. Elle's gonna get her way out. Because I was sitting there like, the Vines are holding Elle back. Not really Vecna at this point. It's really the Vines. I was like, Elle can beat the Vines. I was like, yeah, she's got this. And then she kept getting, they kept wrapping tighter. I was like, no, Elle, get out. Like, you're gonna save Max in time. And the moment Max's body lifted, I was like, come on. And when that first leg broke, I was like, okay, she has to stop her now. It has to stop now. And and it kept going, I was like, oh no, we're done. So I definitely, the holding in Lucas's arms. I'm afraid to die, and Lucas screaming, Erica, get help. Like I was like, oh god,
it hurts. Yeah, and again, you're saying that was an ad-lib line, an improv line. It was so. And again, it kind of, and she dies in his arms. That's the fourth death. The gate opens up, and Elle brings, or I guess restarts her heart, but there's nothing currently left in her mind. So, do you agree with what 11 did? And do you think Max will come back from it, or is she done? Is she gone?
In terms of Elle bringing Max back?
Or I guess Max coming back herself, or coming out, because she's brain dead, according to the Duffer brothers. And when she went in her mind, there's nothing there.
Yeah. I agree with what Elle did in terms of trying to bring Max back, because I thought that was my first thought immediately anyway. The moment that before Max actually died, I was like, when she was broken and saying I'm afraid to die, I was looking at the room and I was like, Elle's gonna save her. Elle's gonna save her. Elle's like, people were like, oh, does Elle have healing power? And I was like, I don't know, but I don't see why she wouldn't. Like, what's to say that she can't heal people, right? Yeah. So that was my thought immediately as it was happening. So when Max died, I was like, okay, now it's over. And then Elle did still bring her back. So it was very interesting. I'm happy she did. But I also felt like it was way too late because, again, like her eyes were gone. 3 of her limbs were destroyed pretty much. So now it is this really weird vacuum of like, what is Max at this point? Not even like who, but like, what is Max?
Yeah.
So,
and it honestly brought to mind another Metallica song that always freaked me out, which was it's the one where it's a story about the army dude that lost his sight, lost his hearing, lost his arms, lost his legs. And so like, what is his existence? Right. And it kind of had that level of like just freakiness. And BTG makes a good comment here. So Max must be able to come back, right? Or why else even tease us with the possibility they could have just flat out killed her off?
Yeah, good point.
And it's almost like a double pronged because they already took us through this emotional journey in episode 4, Letters to Billy, where she was already lifted up in the air. She was already on death's door. And then she found that, that her connections and her relationships and her friendships is what she needs to run to. And you had the running up that hill, running up that something. and she saved herself.
Right.
So you're already spent emotionally on that to then do it again, right? And to have her essentially die and then come back, like it is one good. Yeah, good. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure it's that. I don't know why I'm blanking on it, but because why else keep her alive if you're just gonna like basically
kill her,
have her be a shell of a person, right?
Right.
Because yeah, she has to come back. I think Max will somehow come back. Can you break down what all the 4 gates portals were and what you understand Vecna's plan to be? Well, I think the portals just converged into the center of the town and just kind of ripped open into a gate where the library was. So now there's just an open portal into the Upside Down in Hawkins.
And I don't think with the 4 individual gates that Vecna's plan was like specific locations for them. I just think he needed 4. I don't know what the reason is for the 4, but I think he just needed 4 because you got the one in the cabin, or not the cabin, but the trailer, Eddie's trailer, the middle of the road.
Yeah.
The pool, not the pool, the lake, and then where he can then the house for Max. So that's the each locations. I just think they were kind of mostly random where they were, because I mean, Vecna had no way of knowing Chrissy was going to go try to get drugs from Eddie's cabin, or that one guy was the reporter was going to run into the street, So
so I also I don't think it was kind of a random wherever it happened, right? But the 4 people dying is what basically kind of ripped into the 4 corners into the center of the town. Right. Exactly. The 4 gates were just where all the victims were killed.
Yeah. I think having 4 is what gives enough opening for the full convergence.
Yep. Exactly. Cabo makes a fun point, and I think Kayla did post a meme on this in our Discord. But think Vecna looks like a Grinch / Swamp Thing combo. Definitely does.
Someone said that during this show. They were like, Vecna looks like the Grinch.
Judy Elle was kind of powerless to help, which was frustrating. I agree. But I think I hate that Max is kind of the sacrifice for this. But there's this element that happens in superhero comics. If the person's too powerful, there's no sense of tension or drama. It's like the Superman effect, right? It's just Superman's so powerful. Like, how do you make that story compelling when he's the most powerful being ever? And season 1, Elle defeated the Demogorgon. Season 2, Elle closed the portal, killing all the Demodogs. And then season 3, she loses her powers, and they have to kind of defeat the Mind Flayer, without her having her powers in the end there. And then so this season is her trying to get her powers back. She does get her powers back, but it's not enough to stop the portal from Vecna's plan essentially happening. Like, Vecna gets wounded and is knocked out of commission. Like, it definitely set back, but but not beaten. And the portals are open. Max dies. She brings her back, but she's still pretty much dead. So, Elle takes the L in this. And what's your thoughts here on Elle's journey in this season of not having powers, clearly being frustrated, smacks the Becky in the forehead, and then tries to get her powers back and overcomes Papa, and all of that only to not to fail to actually stop the portal from being open. Thoughts on Elle's story as it closed out in this season?
I'm happy with kind of how it progressed in the last 2 episodes. Well, I guess the last 3, 7 at the end of volume 1 and then 8 and 9. But it's just because so much of it was her trying to figure everything out, and then like you said, going to Papa and going to do all those things, and it kind of shows you once again, it's a reminder to all of us that she's a child. She's I think portraying 14 years old in the at currently. So. Yeah. Because that is the mindset that a teenager would have. Like, hey, me as an adult, I'm telling you, you are not ready for this fight.
Yeah.
And her is like the child. She's like, no, I know I have power. I'm going to go save my friends. I don't care what you say. So like that, it kind of reminds us that's what she is. That's who she is. But it does suck that Papa was right. She wasn't ready. I mean, like she won, but she didn't win in the end. And like you said, that's exactly what Vecna said to her. Like, oh, you think you and your friends have won, but you actually lost.
Yeah.
It's already over.
Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly liked that she just didn't come in, save the day, and everything was fine.
Yep.
Because it's already happened a few times, and it would ring hollow. Like it would just come like, oh, okay. Well, as long as Elle's there, everything's fine. And in the end, and Kayla called out where there it is, the Infinity War. But I agree with 60-Bit Misfit. It's more of an Empire Strikes Back, or it's that quintessential, the all hope is lost, the darkest before the dawn kind of thing. Remind me of Luke and Yoda. Absolutely, an Empire. Like Yoda's like, you're not ready. You need to do more training. And then Luke goes and faces Vader and gets his hand cut off, and all is lost, right? I think it's true. But here's the thing: unlike, I don't know, with the whole Yoda telling him he wasn't ready for Vader, he was just using his friends to bring out the other people. In this scenario, if 11 wasn't there, actually, I guess if she wasn't there, the same result would have happened. Or I guess even more of her friends would have died, right? Because at least they saved Nancy, Steve, Eric. Like, aside from Max, everybody else still lived, right?
Hold on. Would it have changed anything? Because the reason Vecna left wasn't because of Elle.
Yeah.
Vecna, like they had already gotten to Vecna's body in the upside down, which is why he left Max's mind.
Yeah.
So all of that still would have happened. The only difference Elle, I guess, truly made was that Max didn't die immediately.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess to backtrack, maybe it did help a little bit because of the fight. It did help. Sure. It did make the vines get drawn back and give more time. That did release.
Yeah.
Steve, Nancy, and Robin. So I guess Elle was important. Now that I'm like re-going through the whole situation.
Yeah. And wait, Lux maturing is realizing Jason's what?
No shot.
All right, it's I don't think anyone's gonna agree with you.
This man was sweating in a gun shop, grabbing a shotgun from a girl, talking about where's your brother? No.
Yes. Nope.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's she blew out Vecna and of the airlock. Yeah, exactly. But see, I think she still was helpful. She did help by being there.
Yeah.
But was Papa right? Like, would have been better if she would have stayed. I don't know. I don't know if it would have been better if she would have stayed. Oh,
she would have.
Elle, I'm not afraid, Papa. You will be. You will be. But it was an interesting dynamic to bring him back because he's been back in kind of like a Vision. It was in season 2, I think. But he hasn't been like back since season 1, I believe. And thoughts on his return, and is he dead?
Up to his same old tricks, the lies, the manipulation. He has I want to know his actual reason behind it, because at the end of everything, he was telling Els because he loved her and that's his daughter or whatever. Cool. What's your actual reason? Because you did this before 11, so I want to know what his actual reasons were. I do think he's finally dead this time. I cannot believe that it took that sniper in the helicopter 8 shots to do it when he killed everybody else in 1. I was just sitting there like, this is just ridiculous. But I liked his return because we got to re-see everything, right? We saw Els flashbacks and what happened, and we got to see a little bit of that in season 1. So now to truly see like Papa's back, they're saying it in a positive light, like he's here to help her get her powers back. Okay, cool. See, has he changed? He's a good guy. And then we see, nope, he's still manipulating Elle. He's locking up the other doctor. We're like, you can't leave, making this a prison, like just really going boss of the wall here and being like, nope, Elle, I am still in control. And like even at the very end of everything, still telling 11, it's your fault those people died. It's your fault one's doing this and is now Vecna, like all of that. Yeah. So
yeah, and I gotta say, and yes, we need to talk about the force pole helicopter scene was awesome. And it was like the opposite of the blow the thing up as you're walking away. She just like stared at it as it was like blowing up. It was insane.
Longest scream ever.
Right. And so I absolutely loved Eddie Munson's girlfriend is here. Hello, Eddie Munson's girlfriend. I'm so sorry for your loss.
So sorry for your loss.
I love the fact that even as he was dying, he was trying to justify his actions. And I just did it because I loved you, blah, 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 blah. Typical abusive relationship BS. But I love, he was like, just, I did it for your own good, right? And she was like, bye, Papa. And I was like, oh.
Exit stage left 11. Bye-bye.
Bam, got him. And it's I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that scene. Riley Bob Papa bored at his government job, got really into the X-Men stories, tried making his own team. We've all been there, right? Oh man. But like he is the quintessential like bad government agent kind of person that just keeps doubling down on bad ideas, just bad ideas on bad ideas. Like there's I guess a kernel of good idea, but just all of it is bad. It's all bad. But so manipulative. Riley Bob. Lucas and Erica's stories this season were beautiful. I do want to talk about Lucas and Erica, and especially Erica. I haven't really talked about her yet. But any other thoughts on Elle's storyline, the whole Elle Papa of it all? Paul Reiser as well. What's his name again? I have it. Paul Reiser. He plays Dr. So-and-so.
No. I mean, it kind of seemed at the end, I thought there would be more, where, they did put the collar on Elle. I was like, okay, cool. There's going to be a bit more here, a bit more power unlocking. I didn't expect it to immediately be bases stormed. Everybody dies. Elle gets free like immediately after. But no, I liked it. It was, I felt it had its purpose. It gave us the result we needed at the end. And I guess now we kind of know that Elle is still not as powerful as she can be. So now we are still awaiting her next power up.
Yeah. I agree. And there's more to come there for sure. And yeah, it was kind of like, I realized what they were doing, but the call and everything was like, there's just not enough time. You don't have enough time to kind of, and I know I said there's only one episode left. It's 2.5 hours, but still there's not enough time. There's not enough time. So they did kind of get through that pretty quick. Rabbi, really behind paying taxes, if I knew it was going to a real life X-Men team. I mean, not so much the experimentation part. Yeah, I don't know, right, Bob. I think I gotta think that one through. Dr. My Two Dads. I love the dynamic between Dr. Burke and Dr. Brenner. Like Dr. Burke, because again, the whole reason they casted Reiser in this role is because of his role in Aliens, where he's seemingly a good guy, but actually he's a bad guy. That was his role in Aliens. But it never really played out that way in Stranger Things. But I just feel like because of that, I guess in my mind, I was like, I always don't really trust him. But through and through, he's been a trustworthy dude.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. But okay, let's talk about Erica Lucas. Since she showed up in season 2, Erica, I'd argue, has stolen every single scene she has been in.
Every one of them.
I can't think of one where she did not steal the scene. And I love that in season 3 they gave her more time and brought her into the mix, and even more so here. And I and even when she was like part of the phase 1 crew, the one that go into the haunted house, at no point was I worried about Erica, because I knew she was gonna like beat some people up, either beat the jocks up or beat Vecna up or whatever it was. Erica was gonna be okay. But thoughts on Erica's story arc here? She's kind of just been this, badass little girl. But thoughts on her growth and development into truly being a part of the party. She actually was in the Dungeons and Dragons party in the beginning, and into truly being a part of the crew.
I mean, she did roll a crit 20, so. But yeah, Erica, just like you said, every time she's on the screen, you're gonna enjoy the scene, right?
Oh yeah.
And I just thought that was pretty great for her. I know somebody commented earlier, like, what did Erica find under under his bed? Like, she just she brings the fun into a serious tone.
Yes.
And she is the comedic relief, and we love it. And but also at the same time, she's incredibly smart. So she's also like, knowing when a plan is good, when a plan is bad, what to do. All of it. And she knew a bit about everything from season 3, but really getting into it on season 4, like, and she didn't bat an eye. She didn't act like anything was crazy. She was like, I'm in, let's go, like, let me help out. And I just loved everything about kind of how she's been introduced and given more screen time, and is just like a funny younger sister that we all need in the show. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Nancy's the Jonathan, Nancy, Steves are like the big sibling, the older sibling, but they haven't really had a great until her. They didn't really have a great younger sibling, because Mike's younger sister is just like, she's still somehow 3 years old. I don't think she's like aged. She's the only one. She still like doesn't speak at all. But yeah, you can't spell America without Erica. And I love that Rogo said the same thing. Yep. But yeah, but I think it's a really good point. She's comedic relief, but it's not like silly, stupid comedic relief. She's really smart. She can go toe to toe with not just the older kids, but with the adults. And yeah, I just think she is freaking awesome. And again, like when she like kicked one of Jason's cronies in the nuts, I was like, yeah. And it was just, I don't know. I love that she just had a few scenes in season 2, but they were so great that they kind of just kept expanding on them. And I love that. And I hope even more so she'll be a part and being in the mix in the final season. And Brick something, and she brought a lot of heart this season. She showed up for her brother big time. And I know not everybody has siblings, but there is something of that. If you have a good relationship with your siblings, sometimes people don't, but sometimes even in the good ones, just like you kind of, it's combative at times, but when shit hits the fan, they got your back, and I think she kind of exemplifies that type of dynamic of knowing, pain in the butt, always giving you a hard time, but nobody better mess with you, because then she'll be right on you, So I thought that was really cool.
That look on her face when she got back into the attic and saw Lucas holding Max in his arms, like there was that one screenshot of how she reacted. I mean, just wonder, like, just like you said, it is that moment where she's like, how can I help you? Like,
Yeah.
how can I make this better?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sinclair siblings for the win. Lucas, I think, also had a really good story arc this season, because he kind of he wants to be, he's been in the nerds, but he wants to be part of the popular group. He scores the winning shot to win the state championship or city championship, whatever it was, but then very quickly realizes how awful jocks are.
Yeah.
But he's still trying to kind of keep the peace. But then he just has this fight with Jason, who's he has to be like twice his size, but goes toe to toe and kind of has this like, I wanted to be popular, but I realize you're just a psychopath. Like,
Yeah.
And being there for Max, the scene between him and Max, like doing the notes to each other, and then him being there in the hospital with her, like such a moving story and just arc for Lucas this season. Thoughts on Lucas?
I mean, you kind of summed it all up perfectly. It was the, I'm tired of being the nerdy bully kid.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be popular.
Yep.
Gets a taste of that and realizes that like maybe it's not what he wants, because he's abandoning his friends, and the guys that were popular are kind of crazy, and goes back to his roots. I'm here to protect my friends. I'm here to help. And I mean, just wonderful, like him wanting Jason's attention and to be a Jason, to then beating down at Jason because he realized that Jason isn't what's needed.
Yeah.
I mean, he fought a man with a gun and didn't have a problem.
I know. But it's just, it showed the power of love, the power of like wanting to defend Max and be like, it was just such a powerful scene. And it showed, again, I think something that Stranger Things has done well, and especially this scene, it shows the power of friendship and love and being there for people versus being scared and alone and having a small world view and thinking, and so seeing how scared Jason was and just a shell of a person he was there with a gun, clearly overpowering, but the power that Lucas brought there beat that. It was a powerful scene. But again, I still think Jason should have just been, I don't know, like trampled, split in half.
He should have been sent into the Upside Down and then just had to experience it all himself with no help and just lose it all there. That's Jason should have been sent there and just left for dead.
Yep. Agreed. Hellfire Club for life. Agreed. All right. There's so many other storylines we're talking about. Okay. Anything else you want to say for Steve? I think we kind of covered up there in the beginning.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Robin, because I thought Robin's storyline was really good this season. And I loved it. It had like the highs and lows in these final two episodes. They had the scene with her and the girl she was crushing on, I can't remember her name, but in the military surplus store, right? And she's with the boyfriend. I'm like, oh God, no.
Yep.
I love how Steve is there for her. But then she's there volunteering, and that girl is there, and then they kind of have that moment. And in a season where it was so dour to the end, like that was such a beautiful moment that I absolutely love. Brought a tear to my eye, because especially for LGBTQ kids in the 80s, like for people that maybe didn't grow up then, it's amazing how far it has come, and there's still so much more and so much further things have to go. But especially then, like not being able to be fully, accepted, especially in a small town like that. And that's the dynamics that they were able to play there, and for Will as well. I don't know, just so moving. But I loved her storyline, especially these last couple episodes. But thoughts on Robin? I thought it was amazing.
Exactly, and she wasn't as involved as season 3, but it was still enough that everything came across. Like you said, we got the Vicky stuff early, so her like, oh no, a broken Robin who's now just going to focus on the mission at hand, and then the end is kind of like there's still a chance, and from how it really seemed like there's really a chance that what you've wanted all along you can get. So I loved Robin once again, and the one that kept them on track getting to the Vecna house Without her, the plan would have failed.
Yeah.
Because Steve and Nancy kept trying to make out in the woods or tell stupid stories, and they have one objective, and that's to go kill Vecna. Now, but unfortunately, we knew they were gonna kind of make it Robin's fault that they got caught, and of course, it happened right at the attic when the house randomly shook and she fell on the vine, and they all got trapped. So we knew that they were gonna make her clumsiness the reason it happened.
Yeah,
which was kind of unfortunate, but still got everybody where they needed to go. Kept everybody kept the adults on track.
Yep.
To doing what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, I love the character Ethan Hawke's and Uma Thurman's daughter. So like, what a pedigree. And she's done a fantastic job in this show. And yeah, I love this combo. It's Vicky's the girl's name, but Vicky is the PB to Robin's jelly. So it just such a sweet relationship. And then another, something we like, this is gonna pay off. But Will's storyline, so tragic. And as we're rewatching the seasons, especially in season 2, where Mike is there for Will as he's going through kind of being used by Vecna, the Mind Slayer. Right. And clearly it's kind of the unrequited love. And especially, just given the times that they were in and Will probably feeling comfortable, like even talking about those feelings. But how gut-wrenching was the scene in the van?
In the car, yeah.
Like just like when Will turns and cry, and Jonathan, who's like stoned out of his mind, he's seeing it too, but like so gut-wrenching. But like is there happiness for Will? Like I don't, because clearly Mike is in love with 11. Like I don't think that plays out. There needs to be something somewhere else, I would guess. But like, thoughts on Will's story here on these last two. But yeah, you're the heart, Mike. Just gut wrenching.
You know what's crazy? I never picked up on Will being gay.
Yeah.
Until somebody mentioned it to me, like right before season 4 started.
Yeah.
And then I saw all of it, and I was like, "Oh my god, how have I not seen this?"
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in terms of what's next for him, I don't think it's good. I unfortunately think if we do lose a main character in season 5, it's going to be Will.
It feels like it's just like, but that's so crappy because Will has been through hell. He gets stuck in the Upside Down. He gets possessed in season 2. I guess season 3, he takes it easy, I guess, but then he has to move away. And he clearly is missing out on this relationship that's really important to him. It'll never be maybe the relationship that he wants. And if he dies, like, damn, what a tragic story.
Yeah, like he said, the moment he got back into Hawkins, he felt Vecna. And the moment he said that, I was like, that means you're going to be used once again. And most likely killed in this battle because and like you said, Mike has Elle. That's a close case there. Mm-hmm. Lucas has Max if she gets out of it. Yeah. Obviously Dustin has Susie. So like, and we haven't really met any other male characters that would be someone that Will would have an interest in. It's clearly Mike, as everyone was saying, you are the heart, like that whole. And then of course, Elle commissioned this. I don't think Elle commissioned that drawing. No. I just think that was a way for him to be like, yeah, Elle, yeah, your girlfriend told me to do this. But yeah. And as you were talking about earlier, with like the whole LGBTQ kids back in the 80s, and how Jonathan was starting to pick up on things, and then even notice it even more in the pizza shop.
Yeah,
that has to be one of the most wholesome, like brotherly love moments in a long time, because it was really. It was Jonathan saying "I know" without saying "I know," and saying this is a safe space for you.
Yep.
And I was just like, "Oh, put my headphones out," and I was just like, "This is wonderful. Like this is top notch."
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was heartfelt because I was kind of getting ticked off at Jonathan because I was like, "Dude, you can't just be stoned and coasting to this whole thing. You gotta get involved." And yeah, I am worried about his fate just because he became the detector again. It's like the old hair standing. I was like, dang it.
I can feel him. He's weak. He's hurt, but he's still alive. I was like, oh, you can feel him? Okay. You're a dead man. Got it.
I cried like a baby during the Jonathan. Yeah, it was a beautiful scene. And it's kind of once Jonathan finally kind of stopped just being, high the whole damn time. Like his eyes were so red. I wonder, was that acting? I don't know. So yeah, I think, and especially that time, like, and having that love there, I think is so important. I hope Will doesn't die, just because, again, just his whole story has been kind of tragic from beginning, and if it ends him being used again and dying in some way, that would be so tragic, so tragic. Death ray plot twist: Will stays alive, but everyone else in the world is dead.
Vecna 2.0.
Oh my god. Anyway, the Russia storyline, the grown-ups, Hopper, Joyce, and Murray. I guess it works out. It still kind of seemed like a pointless B plot, but they got out safe. They went to Russia. They got back. It was a really nice scene between Hopper and Will at the cabin. That was really nice. But other than that, the action was fun. But thoughts on the grown-ups, the old grown-ups subplot?
They never needed to go back to Russia. They the show just could have been just fine focusing on the States. There was so much nonsense and no one cared about Russia. No one cared about what was happening. Like the moment that what am I getting parents' names? Is it Jan? It's not Janice. Is it Janice?
Joyce.
Yeah. The moment that Joyce showed up and it was there with Hopper, I was like, okay, cool. They're gonna get him. Like this is gonna somehow work its way out. It was cool finding out the Russians actually had multiple Demogorgons and part of the Mind Flayer, like a mini Mind Flayer and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. That's interesting. How do they get these things? How do they contain these things? At the same time, I don't care. Like, let's go back to the States. Let's go back to the actual things happening. So yeah, like, congrats on getting out of Russia, I guess.
The Russia story seemed like a completely different show, like a house mom and some dude made their way to Russia and got to a military base and a Demogorgon. Okay, sure. Every time a Russia scene started, I was like, but I agree. Joyce and Hopper getting the moment was all we needed. That's all we needed. I will say the Hopper and Conan sword was cool with his chopping off his head, but again, like, Murray could have just kept flaming him, and did you need that? So I get it was cool, but
Murray was out of flames. Remember?
Oh, okay, I guess he was out of flames. Whatever. So I was like, "Where was?" I guess they had swords, like a really cool ass Conan sword, but
where'd he come from?
Padre Russia subplot was off tonally. It was only part of season 4 that had an obnoxious cartoony tone so prevalent and distracting season 3. But see, I didn't mind it in season 3 because season 3 kind of had that. Was the Wolverines? What's that subplot where Russians are in America or whatever? Like, it was an homage and it kind of worked. And I didn't mind it here. But it just, towards the end, especially having to go back, I was like, I have to go back. Really? It felt like it just didn't work. And yeah, Kayla, good call here. Their kiss was improvised. Of the big improvised scenes, their kiss was improvised. Murray with a flamethrower is a vibe, my spirit animal, if you will.
He was so happy with that thing.
I mean, Murray's great. Okay, I like the characters. I even like bringing the Game of Thrones man with no face guy into it. I loved him. Wolverines, thank you. Yeah. Thought Russia would be more impactful, but it really did nothing for the main plot. It just kind of existed out here and had nothing to do with the main story. And I think that's probably at its core the problem.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was just about to say. If anything that happened in Russia affected what was going on with the Vecna storyline, I would have been all for it. But nothing they did had any impact whatsoever on what was actually happening. And therefore, it felt like a waste to me.
Yeah, agreed. BCG, I didn't improvise kissing Winona, right? Red Dawn. Yes, there you go, Red Dawn. Thank you, Brian. Oh, Brian, good to see you, my friend. Red Dawn. Yes. Okay. I think it's just about everything. Yeah. Final thoughts, Dom. What would you grade the season? However you want to grade it, either grades or thumbs ups or it's awesome, whatever. But the whole season 4 of Stranger Things, how would you grade it?
I want to give it probably around an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Definitely thumbs up, even 2 thumbs up, but an 8 out of 10 only. And again, what's sad is that the detriment to it is the Russia storyline. Like that is what brings the grade down because it just was not needed.
Yeah.
And there was a good amount of time spent in Russia that we just didn't need. But outside of that, I mean, great development, slow start, crazy reveal with episode 7, getting us into 8. 8 was really slow, not a lot happened.
Yeah.
And then obviously everything in our 2.5-hour movie in episode 9. So overall, great. Just some things in that we just didn't need. And maybe Elle was right that Millie Brown was right that they should have killed a main character. Maybe that would have given even more to us.
Yeah. Darthurian, I give it 2 halves of a jock. Oh, Jason. Should have like I think I just wanted Jason to see that he was wrong. I want him to see that you're an idiot and then die. Horrible. And he just kind of died still thinking he was right. And I hate it. I hate it when a bad guy dies still thinking they're right.
Yeah.
Riley Bob, 2 metal horns way up for Eddie and Chrissy. Love that. But yeah, for me, I would give it similar. And it may be recency bias, but season 4 has been my favorite season since season 1. And if I had to rank them, I would go 1, 4, 3, 2. And people in the chat, let's put your rankings in season so far. Yes. What order, best to worst? Dom, what would be your rankings?
Someone talked about this earlier today. For me, and again, I need to rewatch, probably get this as accurate as possible because it's been a while. But just from what's memory, and it is partly recency bias, I would go 3, 4, 1, 2.
Oh, what? You put 1/3?
Because I don't recall as much from 1.
Okay.
But I do remember how good it was. I remember nothing from season 2, which is why for me it's at the bottom. Because it like I can at least remember a good amount of season 1. I remember nothing from season 2. So for me, that's why it goes down to the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I rewatch, I'm sure 1 would move up.
Yeah.
Again, it gives us our whole start. I did like Will and the Upside Down and all of that. But obviously, we so much more depth in the story the later we get. So many more cool fights and just things that happen that make 3 and 4 a higher for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember Bob.
I remember Bob.
Like 3. 3. I know some people don't like it because it tonally felt a little off, especially like Russians being in the U.S. or whatever. But it just kind of hit. Was that the summer of the pandemic or was it summer before pandemic? I just remember because it was like that 4th of July weekend and it just hit really well. I don't know, just like it was just a good stream, I guess. But I really love that story. So for me, it was always 1, 3, 2. 2 on rewatching it, it's not as bad, but the whole, and Colleen agrees with me, like the whole finding her mother and then the punker crew storyline, her 8, her sister. Like you think the Russia B plot is bad. That whole B plot, it's just like a snooze fest. It was fall asleep, but at least the Russia thing was like entertaining. But let's go to your rankings here. 1, 4, 2, 3. So 3 last. Kayla is same 1, 4, 3, 2. Jay Andrew is 3 number 1, 1, 4, 2. Ray Death Ray 1, 4, 2, 3. Riley Bob. Oh, darn it. How did I get past Riley Bob's here? Yeah, Riley Bob 1, 4, 3, 2. Judy, probably the same 1, 4, 3, 2. Although 3 was pretty special. I love 3. I want to know what tormenting Chrissy that Vecna was targeting her. All the other victims had something going on. I guess we never got that backstory, right? Like her father was saying crap and he had his eyes sealed shut or something.
Yeah. We heard like her mom tormenting her about,
weight or whatever.
Yeah, her weight and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Riley, I would say 1 and 3 are pretty tied. Give it 11. Yeah, okay, so it was pre-pandemic. Colleen, doing a rewatch, and 2 isn't terrible, just ends more anticlimactically. 3 was summer before COVID. Okay, very good. And 1, 4, 3, 2. So I think the prevailing line is 1, 4, 3, 2. But Dom, you're 3, 4, 1, 2. That's yours.
Yeah.
Why is 3 your favorite?
I don't know. I feel like because there were 2, the adults doing their thing in one storyline and the kids doing one thing in their storyline and coming together. Towards the end and not really having the kids save the day, but the adults save the day was like the big difference there. And it started to up the tempo a bit. And I really like the Mind Flayer. I mean that I like way better than a Demogorgon or a Demodog. Like this spatial, spirally, dark cloud creature thing that doesn't have a true form. Possessing people and all of that. Like I really like
the whole like just dead rats and stuff. Like at the end, the big monster thing.
Now, as I think we talked about this on the last episode, but the turning into muck goop stuff, that part that was like weird. What is this like early 2000s Power Rangers? Like we don't need that. But outside of that, like it was really really good.
Yeah.
The mall was very fun there, Darthian.
The mall was great. All right. We can't close out the show without doing some stranger memes.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to thank Kayla, who sent me a lot of these. And then I found a lot just by searching on the internet as well. This was the first one that I sent to Colleen. But how the hell did Mike not notice Will sobbing and crying next to him? And then it's just this picture of a thumb with like a little bowl cut wig on it. I feel so bad for his haircut because the actor who plays him like, can I have a different haircut? And the Duffer Brothers are like, no.
I think I saw someone talk about the reason Will was actually crying is because they said they were making him have another haircut like this.
Oh my God. All of memes better be Eddie shredding. I think there should be at least someone here. This one I think is what I cracked up the most. Max waiting for Mike to finish his speech to L, like, and it's just,
oh God,
picking up there. Oh my God, that I love that one. Jonathan, are we okay?
Yes.
Yeah, viewers.
I am viewers.
If you missed the beginning of the show, that was Dom's. This was Dom's take. The start of the show. Let's see. Before watching Stranger Things 4, after watching Stranger Things 4, can we just give a shout out to Sadie? Like, just an amazing performance, fantastic performance. Jopper wearing matching clothes in every season is something so personal to me. I didn't notice it until I saw this meme, and it's true. They have kind of the same get up every single time as they close out the season.
Yeah, when they changed into the same outfit in the chapel, I was like, that's cute.
Me. Vecna, every time he hears Kate Bush. I don't care. Like, some people are like sick of it. I'm like, I could listen to that song nonstop. Just I'll be walking down the street.
Song of the summer.
Let's see. Spoiler without context. It's
Steve said he had visions of having 6 kids. He's got his 6 kids.
It is true. It is true. Having 2 kids, I was like, Steve, you're an idiot. But good luck. Good luck. Let's see. Me outside the Duffer Brothers house after the season 4 finale. Sadie's back after carrying the entire season. It's true, though. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Will touches his neck. Me. It's not good. It's not good. Joyce, when Hopper started talking about breadsticks and lasagna, not about how he wants to rail her.
That's what you were thinking about? Food?
I was like, dude, how are you screwing this up right now? I get the breadsticks. They weren't even Olive Garden breadsticks. So I was like, where are you even? Anyway, that was a really funny scene. Let's bring this up a little bit bigger. Stranger Things, spoilers, no context. Got the pineapple on pizza. I guess it's not even controversial anymore, right? Is it still a controversy? I feel like everyone's over it by now, right? There's more things to worry about.
Oh, I still have many a debate where people don't like it, and I'm like, pineapple goes on pizza. People, get over it.
Yeah, I still don't know if I ever had pineapple on pizza yet.
Do it,
but I'm not gonna fight people about it. It's like if it makes you happy, you do you. You do you. Here we go. Another same energy. Stranger Things. It's a same episode here reference. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Here we go. Another one here. He is my hero. With Eddie. Here's another one. For peace of mind, at least Eddie and Chrissy can find each other in the afterlife. The chemistry is so good.
That's so messed up.
I know. I did that one. Sorry. Here we go. Me when Jason stepped on Max's Walkman. Hashtag Stranger Things.
Pretty sure that was Lucas's exact reaction on the left.
Right?
He was like,
yeah. Yep, exactly. The show villain, the real villain. I give credit to the actor, did a great job at playing an absolute D-bag. Evil D-bag.
Yeah.
Oh
no. Oh no.
Oh my god. Me whenever they show Will's neck from behind. Shit, here we go again. And that closes out Stranger Things. Stranger Memes. Season 4 of Stranger Things. Whew, Dom. It was a great time.
Absolutely.
My friend. So you are a streamer in your own right. Mm-hmm. You are on the Twitch. On the Twitch. But where can people find you, my friend?
Yeah, find me mostly on Twitch. I am my username athletic_geek. Mm-hmm. I have a YouTube. I don't do much on there, but I do have a YouTube channel. Same thing. Then of course social media, Instagram and Facebook. If you guys follow Jay at Geek Dad Life, then you can see I tagged him in a post there, so I should be there. But find me on all the social media platforms. It's the way to live life now, it seems. So,
it's the world we live in. But Athletic Geek, it's athletic_geek or just Athletic Geek?
So if you're doing Twitch, it's underscore. For most other sites, you can probably find me just Athletic Geek.
All right, there you go. Definitely give Dom a follow. And Dom, we don't have to wait however many years till the next things. We will do some. We'll stream about something else. Hopefully in no time at all. I definitely want to thank the people that make this show possible. My patrons. I want to pull up the full list of them right here. If you'd like to see your name, become a patron at patreon.com/geekdadlife. Help the channel grow. And yeah, like we have exclusive live streams on Patreon. We got an exclusive Discord. You get your name in the credits. We do giveaways, and I'm working on doing an audio only Patreon podcast feed. So if you want to listen to any of these on the go, that will be a part of the Patreon very soon. Don't worry, poor Ralph is not getting sidelined because Ralph and I will be back to talk about the new Thor movie this Monday. So we'll be back for that. But definitely, if you are new to the channel or you've been watching and you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe to Geek Dad Life too. And until next time, everybody take care. And we'll see y'all later. Hasta luego and goodbye. Peace.